Yo, what's up, everybody? Boys and girls, children of all ages. We got some news to talk about today. 49ers return to practice, and we're going to break it all down. You know how we got to do it. It is almost game day. We finally get back to practice. Let's go ahead and break it down for you today. What's up, everybody? How are we feeling? What's up, Raphael? What's up, Fios God? What's up, Tyler? What's up, Raphael? Pleasure TV. Yo, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. What's up, everybody? What's up, Mark? How the heck is everybody doing? So we got some news today. As expected, well, I expected it. We talked about it yesterday. And, Tevin Coleman was released off the team. They opened up a roster spot. And today, they had to make the decision. And cornerback Jason Verrett was added to the lineup, to the active roster. Now, does it mean he's going to play? Not necessarily, but it means that they have time to wrap him up, let him go out there and practice and test the knee out. The Niners need help in the secondary. They got a lot of younger guys that are trying to learn the ropes. You got Travarius Ward dealing with the groin injury, and they just didn't look up to par last week, running man coverage against the Chiefs, and they got wrecked. So this kind of comes at a great time. He's going to be practicing. He was limited today from the early reports, but this is huge. If Jason Verrett can be healthy, which is a big if he could be healthy, man, holy moly. I tell you what, this is a massive, massive, addition to the team because this team needs health. They need cornerbacks. So definitely great news to hear. I'm happy for Jason Verrett because Jason Verrett's such a hardworking guy. He's battled through adversity. He's just a guy that, you root for. He's been through so many injuries over his career. And I've said it many times, if he was, a guy that stayed healthy throughout his career, he'd probably be the best cornerbacks of the last decade. Like we'd be talking about Jason Verrett as one of the perennial Pro Bowl cornerbacks in the NFL. But unfortunately for him, he's had ACL, Achilles, hamstring. He's had a myriad of injuries. He always tries to come back. You got to bless his heart, man. The guy has a fighting spirit. He's a warrior, and he comes back as much as he can. So I hope he's healthy. If he can be, man, he will be a shot of adrenaline to the secondary. But again, Kyle Shanahan says he's not 100% sure he's going to play this weekend. He has a chance. They're going to see how he goes in practice. And again, they need him. They need a secondary veteran out there. When Mosley went down, and I've said this the last couple weeks, Emmanuel Mosley was the biggest loss that this defense has faced. I feel. I really feel that he's a big impact. So what's up, everybody? Let's get it. I'm watching from the hospital, Troy. This is good news. Yo, I hope you're okay, Troy. God bless you if you're in the hospital. Hopefully you're working and not in there for other reasons. But hey, man, bless you, and I hope you get better. Jeremiah says, if everyone stayed healthy, we really got to shut down defense. If everybody stayed healthy, this defense would be, top tier. But at the same time, you got to make those adjustments. Last week, Andy Reid really kind of took D'Amico to the shed. But hey, you're right. Those injuries definitely didn't help. Emmanuel Mosley is hurt. Dre Greenlaw had the calf injury. Arik Armstead's hurt. Javon Kinlaw's hurt. But you can't always use those as an excuse. But you're right. I agree to it. If this team was fully healthy, man, yeah, they wouldn't have lost a step. Nick Bosa coming off the groin injury too. So yeah. I'm here for 2 weeks, Troy. He says, "Yo, prayers up to Troy. Let's give Troy our prayers up, and hopefully he recovers well." He says he's getting his lungs better. So hey, man, love you. Love the support. Watch from the hospital. I hope you're getting better, and yo, take care of yourself. Bless up, my man. 0% of all the things you just said happens. Yeah, health is wealth. What's up with Kinlaw? He's still dealing with the knee tendonitis and the flare up. He had the flare up is really what happened. He had the ACL surgery this offseason, and he's been dealing with soreness, and I guess it flared up on him, a little swelling. So that's where we're at with Kinlaw. They're not 100% sure when he's coming back. There's really no timetable when your knee flares up. It's just you got to get it under control, get the pain down, get the swelling down, and that's where we're at with Kinlaw. So, well, let's see. Sharia says we need another medicine game against the Rams. Yeah, that's what I said. I said, can the Rams be our best medicine yesterday? Well, I hope to God they're the Tylenol we need. I hope that the Rams are the Tylenol. The Oxycontin, we need some Oxycontin right now. Actually, we need some Narcs. Forget the pansy stuff, the Tylenol. The Niners need some Narcs injected into their body because whatever they're taking right now ain't helping them. They definitely need some narcotics. Heavy dose. Give me some Oxy. Let's go, baby. Let's get the heavy stuff against the Rams. We need it. We need that medicine. I agree. Not every team is healthy, so no excuses. 100%, Tyler. I agree. And we said that yesterday. I said at the end of the day, not every team in the NFL can sit there and say they're 100% healthy. So it's at the end of the day, it is an excuse. So I agree. Let's see. Roger, wouldn't be surprised if one of the elite players are moved by the trade deadline or in the offseason. You never know. You never know because, again, who knows? Offseason's always crazy. The Niners, man, they're so surprising with everything they do. Nobody expected the CMC thing to go down. So, honestly, I'm not going to count that out. You just never know, Files. Let's talk about the Eagles, though. Somebody did mention this. Raphael says, who had the bigger trade, the Niners or the Eagles? Did you guys see what the Eagles did? They went and got Robert Quinn. For a fourth-round pick. The Eagles have been dominant, undefeated. Defense is solid. They've been playing out of control on offense. And now they just added Robert Quinn. This is a dream team. This was a move that says, yo, I want you to know I'm winning now. The CMC move was huge because the Niners needed offense, but I don't know if CMC is going to be the impact that's going to win them games. You still got a quarterback that's limited. Robert Quinn transforms that defense into another level. In my opinion, Eagles won that. I think so. I think the Eagles won. That's my opinion. Maybe you guys think different. What do you guys think in the comments? Do you think that the Eagles had the bigger trade or the Niners had the bigger trade, the bigger impact trade? I think the CMC impact is going to be huge, but I think the impact of Robert Quinn on the Eagles is going to be bigger. That's my take on it, but we'll see. 49ers updates. What's good, my man? He says this team doesn't have the same feel as last season. It doesn't have the same feel as a lot of seasons, but there's a few parallels. It's a slow start, just like last season, but I feel last year we were still like in a better place. Even though they were 3-4, it was like I felt a little bit better about it. But hey, again, you never know. You beat the Rams, you take that medicine, and you might turn everybody's feelings around because they did start very slow last year. But the difference, I feel, was Debo. Like, Debo came into the season last year, and he flipped the switch. He turned into what we all saw him grow, the superstar player. I think teams have kind of figured that out, and I don't know if we're going to be able to kind of flip that switch. But that's why they brought CMC. Maybe CMC is going to be the guy that flips the switch on the Niners offense because that's what they had. They had one guy finally come in, and Debo put the team on his back. So can CMC do that? Kyle Shanahan talked about CMC, and he said that he's going to ramp him up. He's going to get, more plays in the offense. Can he be the guy that saves the offense like Debo was? That's where I feel last year that this team was able to rely on Debo. And the defense, they were consistent for the most part. So, we didn't have a good secondary last year for the beginning of the year. So I still think our secondary is better this year. Another key, though, last year was they had DJ Jones in the middle on the interior of the D-line. And this year, you don't have DJ Jones. Arik Armstead's been, battered up. He hasn't been able to play. And then Javon Kinlaw. So I feel a lot of the impact, too. Also, you have to realize they don't have the interior D-line that they had last year. And that was a big key of this defense last year. They were able to stop the run very well. This year, they don't have that ability to stop the run as good. So I think you're right. There is a lot of differences, but there are some similarities. Another slow start from last year. So, a couple other things that happened today. Tevin Coleman back on the practice squad. He's like Dante Johnson on the defense, the revolving door. I think someone said it. The Simpsons, Grandpa Simpson walks in the bar. He walks right out. That's what they do to these players. They bring them in, they cut them, they bring them in. Tevin Coleman back on the practice squad. Welcome back. Now, the injury report is kind of ugly. So let's go over the injury report today, the practice injury report. We're going to go over it. So Deebo Samuel did not practice. He has the hamstring injury. Dre Greenlaw did not practice. He has the calf injury. Kyle Juszczyk, obviously, he's out this week. He broke his finger, and he had surgery to fix it. So he's not practicing this week. Arik Armstead did not practice. Still has the foot injuries. Juwan Jennings has a hamstring injury. He did not practice today. Samson Ebukam, he's been dealing with a lot of Achilles soreness for the last couple of weeks. He did not practice today. So that's quite the list. Rick G says, did I see the video when CMC shook the hands of each O-line to keep their heads up? Another leader. Yeah, I posted that actually. KMBR was the original people that posted it. I posted it yesterday. I like that I saw that. I do like that CMC, I know he lost that game to the Chiefs, but he's definitely a leader, and I'm glad that they brought him in. This is a guy that's going to really help this team, but I don't know if he's going to have enough impact to win games for them. Like, he's going to be out there making big plays, but, the quarterbacks in some situations is going to have to be able to push the ball down the field. Defense, you're going to have to be able to lock down big receivers. You're going to have to be able to generate pressure. So CMC definitely a big piece of the puzzle, but I don't know he's going to be the only piece, So we'll see. But, yeah, definitely love seeing CMC, building that relationship with his offensive lineman. You show that trust. You got to show your lineman that you respect them. So Fios God says, every time Jimmy throws, heart skips a beat. I think you get a little pitter-patter, not in a good way. So do I think that CMC gets over 100-plus scrimmage yards in a TD against the Rams? I think it's very possible. He had 62 yards on Sunday, having been on the team for 2 days. I think it's very possible. I really think that CMC is going to go at least have 100 yards of scrimmage, because you could see the runs he made were very electric. The screen pass was very nice, and then they went away from him. But the only issue I see with CMC not being able to be effective in this game is the loss of Kyle Juszczyk. Kyle Juszczyk is not going to be playing this weekend, and he's a big part of those runs that CMC had. If you watch that game, a lot of his runs were right behind Trent and Kyle Juszczyk, just paving the way. So it's going to be a big loss for everybody on this team. Kyle Juszczyk not playing on Sunday, but I think it's very possible, Tyler, that can happen. Fios God says the Eagles are coming out of the NFC, and they will lose by 14 to either the Bills or the Chiefs, possibly. But, man, they are definitely the front runner in the NFC, and that Robert Quinn trade was massive. What a blockbuster. They didn't even give up much for him. Huge move. Gotta love it. Wow. Crazy. Eagles are the most healthy team in the league. That's crazy. They're the best team and the most healthy team. So that shows you got health and you have your best players on the field. You're probably going to win most of your games. You got to have elite talent on the field. When you have elite players and they're not on the field, it shows you how much of an impact that you're missing. So 100%, I agree. Those players, the Eagles are very lucky right now. They don't have big injuries. They're playing at a high level. They have great players. Everything's going well for them. John says, elevate Jason Poe to fullback. I don't mind it, but I know he hasn't really been playing fullback in the scheme on the Niners, because he's the undrafted rookie, and they've been trying to use him at guard and things like that. If he was getting reps at fullback, I definitely would. I know they're going to have Ross Dwelley play fullback. Eventually, I think Jason Poe is going to make this roster and be on this active unit, and he'll have a role somewhere. He's young, he's got to develop. But I like Jason. I wouldn't mind seeing him play a little fullback. That boy can move. Rick G, appreciate you. Talanoa Hufunga, Big Huff shirt. Go get my man Lolita Customs on Instagram. Lolita Customs. Go check them out. They always providing the fresh drip, the Hufunga shirt today. Shout out to Talanoa Hufunga. He's, I think second in the league with 3 interceptions. I know last week he had a tough game tackling, but he's played his ass off this season. Definitely a rising star. Kind of cooled down as late from the first few weeks. But, hey, Rams game, he had one of the biggest plays of the year so far, and we need that Hufunga to be playing on Sunday. Talanoa, that big pick 6 against the Rams a few weeks ago, that was massive. We need to see that kind of play from Big Huff. I think he's also been playing through concussions these last 2 weeks, and that's not good. I want to make sure that they're healthy. I don't need these guys playing through big injuries, and I feel Talanoa Hufunga has been playing through these concussions these last 2. But I don't know. Me and the NFL concussion protocol are at war with each other, so I don't like it. I don't like it. Oh, I feel bad for you, Sharia. He says his Lakers suck and his Niners are struggling. Rough. You shouldn't be a Lakers fan, by the way. Play calling is predictable. Every time Danny Gray comes in, we know it's a deep shot. Yeah, we talked about this, Fios. I feel like Danny Gray, they're only subjecting him to be that deep ball passer. Like, I get it. He is that deep ball receiver. And that's what Trey, that was like a weapon for Trey. But I've said this a couple times. You can still use him as a jet sweep type guy. You can use him as a slant bubble screen guy. If the Chiefs had him, they would use him that way. They'd figure out a way to utilize his talents. The Bills, too. Like, you saw what McCole Hardman did to the Niners? 3 touchdowns. And all he did was do jet sweeps. Literally, that's all he did. So, definitely tough. Rick G says 4 consecutive years the Niners have had a pick six to get through. Isn't that freaking dope? Isn't that pretty dope? 4 consecutive years the Niners have had a pick six against the Reds. Rick, it's amazing. Fred Warner, Javon Kinlaw, you got Talanoa Hufanga. It's amazing. And then Jimmy Ward last year, he had the pick six last year. Like, can they get another one this week? I know they already got one this year, but can they get another pick six? I need to see another pick six. Who's going to get a pick six against? Let's get Nick. I want to see Nick Bosa get a pick six against the Rams. Can you imagine pick six against the Rams? Or what if Jason Verrett comes back? What if Jason Verrett comes back and get a pick six? I don't think he's coming back this week. But if he does, and Jason Verrett got a pick six, oh, God. Or Mooney Ward. I need Mooney Ward to go have a big game this week. Because, last week it was a tough game. I feel like we need to get a redemption game for Mooney Ward. Fios God says, Trey's looking good. Hopefully he's in good spirits. Yesterday we posted the picture of Trey Lance. He posted it on his Instagram. I don't know if you guys saw it. I'm sure you guys did. He's got the cam boot. He's got the walking boot on. A couple weeks ago after surgery, he showed his foot. He had the surgery. He had the cast on his foot. Yesterday he has the boot on. That's great progress. I love to see it. He looked like he was smiling. He's in good spirits. He had his new Audi. He was sitting in the Audi car. Maybe he was a promotion. I don't know. Maybe he bought an Audi and he was like thanking them. Yo, shout out to Audi, whatever. And he just, he's showing off his boot. It was pretty cool. It was a good update. I like to see Trey in good spirits. Yeah, man. Hopefully he's doing well. It definitely was nice to see Trey Lance post on social media for the first time in a while. Very, very good. Because a couple weeks ago, we saw the cast picture, and then we saw a video of him at Debo's house, and the guys are playing basketball. He's in a wheelchair. I was kind of sad. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little sad when I saw him in the wheelchair, and now I see him in the walking boot. So definitely a great sign of progress from a rehab standpoint. So man, I can't wait for Trey to get back. Yeah, love the kid, love the guy. He's amazing, and I can't wait to see him develop. I know there's haters out there, but hey, definitely positive vibes for Trey Lance, man. I can't wait for his return. So. Rick G says, we saw Mac Jones get benched for Bailey Zappi. You think we'll see Jimmy get benched for Mr. Relevant? We talked about this, Rick. I know we talked about this with Smitty. Smitty says that's what the Niners need to do. I know a lot of fans are going to say, no, you're giving up. I mean, if Jimmy stinks it up, I don't think it's a bad thing. Because, and this is a good topic, because if you're going to have Trey as your quarterback next year, you want to have a decent backup, right? Jimmy's not going to be there. You want to have a good backup. At least you develop Purdy. But I guess it depends on how the season's going. If the season's like really gone away and they're 3-6, man, 3-7, you might need to throw him in there, see what he's got, right? You might have a gem. He might, he might win a few games. I'm not saying you got to put in Purdy because Jimmy's not the answer and you're giving up, but it might be something you need to do. Or if you're blowing out a team, put him in there. Let him get some reps, because you are going to need a good backup when Trey takes over next year, unless they plan on bringing Jimmy back, which I don't think is the case. I think they should put in Purdy. That was one thing they didn't do a lot with last year with Trey. It was the, even when they were blowing teams out, they didn't want to put Trey in there for whatever reason. And, I feel like you should get the kid some reps. If he's going to be your backup, let him develop. But if they're shitting the bed, there's no reason not to. Look at the Colts. They made a bold move. Matt Ryan getting paid a lot of money. They benched him. They said, screw you, we're putting Sam Ehlinger in. That was massive. That was a nuts on the table. We're going to try to turn the ship around. We're going to see if this younger guy is the answer. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I know fans are going to say, oh, Jimmy's the answer. They win games. He hasn't been horrible this year. So, I mean, obviously, you don't throw out Jimmy if he's not playing bad, but he's Jimmy. He's playing what Jimmy does. He's doing Jimmy Garoppolo, what he's a game manager. He's going to make a few mistakes here and there. He's not going to press the ball down the field. So he's doing his game. I don't think he's played horrible. I mean, he had a pretty decent last few weeks. So definitely don't think it's a bad thing to do, though. You never know. But yeah, Bailey Zappi, Mac Jones, that situation is just diabolical. That's bad. Mac Jones, he looked bad. Then they put in Bailey. That's not good for Mac Jones's development. And then Bailey just shit the bed at the end of the second half. So definitely bad stuff going on in New England land. So my man Philo says, I'm more worried about Trey Lance's mental health. I know he's good. I know he hears everything in the fans' media say. You know what, though? But Trey's a tough guy. From what I've gathered, just looking at the guy, just, hearing him speak, you can tell he's tough mentally. And I know he's going to be – he's been through a lot of adversity through his young career already. I think he's going to be okay. And I feel like he's in good – like, you could just tell, like, him being in the meetings, when they reported that he was still in the meetings, Zoom meetings, even though he was in the hospital bed and stuff like that. Like, he's been trying really hard. He's been trying very hard to make sure that, he's around the team and staying positive. So I think he's probably good mentally. So, but yeah, we hope. That's the biggest thing is mentally going through any type of rehab, injury rehab, you mentally need to be strong because that is the hardest part of rehab is if you're not strong mentally, it's going to be a tough mountain to climb. Just from my experience, when people are struggling mentally, I mean, physically he's gonna rehab and he's gonna make progress because he's young and he's gonna heal well, but mentally that's the big hurdle. He's gonna probably feel like, am I gonna be the same guy? Am I still gonna be able to run? Is it gonna be pain when I play? There's just a lot of things that the athletes are gonna think about. But he seems like he's a tough guy, a tough individual, mentally strong. So we'll see how it goes. Rick says the team continues to support him. Yeah, and that's the other part of the equation is making sure the team respects him, making sure the team supports him. And I feel like they do. I feel like the team definitely has his back, and they're supporting him 100%. So let's see. Raj says Jimmy is a backup. Once the D gets healthy, the offense should be good enough going forward. They should. That's what we're hoping. He knows the offense. He knows how to distribute the ball to the playmakers. He's the guy that's supposed to be able to get the quick release. I mean, he's played in this offense. He was a former starter on this team. Obviously he's the backup, but he's brought into the light. He should know how to operate this team. He's been with the team since 2017. So as long as the defense gets healthy, I mean, they should be able to go on a run. But that's what you worry about. Is it a lack of execution on the players? Is the coaching staff? Is it a cohesion thing? Is it a trust thing? You don't know really what's going on with the offense, but I mean, they should. You're absolutely right. They should be able to turn it around, just like they did last year. So, still early. Again, the Rams are perfect medicine, and going into this game, players are limping around. They got some injuries, but I feel like they're going to get healthy after the bye. They're going to get healthy. You're going to get players back. Aziz Al-Shahir, Elijah Mitchell's coming back, right? Dre Greenlaw, Debo probably will be a lot healthier. You got CMC. He'll have been on the team for a few weeks now. So Jason Verrett just came back today, so maybe he'll be able to play on this roster. So the team is definitely getting healthy, and it's kind of at the right time. If they can be 100% healthy, get on a run towards the end of the year, then it's all a perfect storm. But everything has to kind of be executed properly. What's up, Joe? We need BDN. Oh, Eric, no, we do not. This is the last thing we need. We don't need Nick Mullins. Too many stars on the offense just to be average. I agree. And that's what Brandon Ayuk says. That is exactly what Brandon Ayuk says. 49ers update says, do you think Kyle will be on the hot seat if we don't make the playoffs? I think he should be, but I don't think he will be. I don't think he will be. I think he will be given another chance because of the fact that he has Trey Lance, and that's his ace in the hole. I feel like that's his ace in the hole. Is he still has to go show people like, hey, I drafted this guy. I get a chance with him. So I think that could be his saving grace. I think if he doesn't make play, I feel like he should be on the hot seat. That's my opinion. I've been saying it, but I don't think he will be. You know what I mean? Elijah Mitchell and CMC is going to be exciting, 100%. Kyle will be on the hot seat if Lance doesn't work out, and that'll take at least 2 more years. Yeah, John, see, that I think is a good way to put it. Is he probably won't be on the hot seat yet because he has Trey Lance, but he will be if Trey doesn't pan out, which I pray to God he does because I'm a big fan. I've been a big supporter. I feel like Trey Lance will be, successful, but it all depends. If he's not, Kyle should be on the hot seat. If he went in, traded all his draft capital for Trey Lance, and he doesn't pan out, what the hell? What the hell are we going to keep this guy? You got to move on. And I know people are like, oh, if they get rid of Kyle, everybody will be banging at the door to get him. Then that's fine. He can go somewhere else and try again. Sometimes you do need a new, fresh start. Like, that's fine. Again, I know a lot of people are like, oh, he's better than Chip Kelly and Jim Tomsula. Like, if that's your markers, then yeah, of course he's better than those two guys. Like, it shouldn't be hard to be better than what they did. You know what I mean? But he has done good things. He has built a good roster. So I know they're going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He came in, he took over a gutted team. He helped them get to NFC championships in the Super Bowl. I get all that. But is he going to win a big one with Jimmy and his coaching? Like, is he ever going to win a Super Bowl with the 49ers? You have to be able to think. I don't know. Jim Harbaugh, he got 2 NFC championships in the Super Bowl, right, himself. He had an 8-8 season, and they got rid of him. 8-8 season. That was his worst season. So you kind of start looking at things. And then there's a lot of political things, Jed York and him, they seem to be eye and eye. Even if he has a bad season, I feel like Jed York still respects him. The front office respects him. So Kyle treats Kyle like a running back again. He needs to, that's tough, man. I know he's utilizing his strengths, and he can run, he can pass, but you got to develop him as a passer. And I feel like Trey is such a good passer, and he has those characteristics. And I feel like you're right. They could have developed him as a passer a lot more first before you start implementing those runs. Like, I know you get excited. You're like, oh, my God, Trey could run. He could run up the middle. He could do this. Josh Allen does it. And I know, and it's very effective, and it was working. But you got to dial it back, and I feel like they should have developed him as a passer first because he is a great passer, and he's a guy that can throw the ball, good pocket presence. You've seen it on the film. Didn't do enough in that sense. And I guess he still had a very limited amount of time with the Niners. Like, he only played a few games, a handful of games, one off season really as QB1. So still a lot to develop him with. But I think they need to really focus on his pocket presence. The running stuff can come, and you got to really develop pocket presence and that throwing ability. Make him a passer. It's a good comment. Niner fans are scared from bad coaching. They'd rather stick with the average coach. That's a true statement. That's a true statement. That's a true statement. They're very scared. Niners have had some bad coaches. I so agree. Mike Singletary. Actually, today is the anniversary of Mike Singletary's speech where he said, I want winners. The Vernon Davis speech where he put him in a blender and he made Vernon become the guy that he was. I agree. Mike Singletary, Dennis Erickson, Mike Nolan. Oh, they got rid of Mooch. They got rid of Mariucci and went through a carousel of god-awful coach. Dennis Erickson, Mike Nolan, Mike Singletary. Oh, bad. They were bad. I agree with you. I agree with that. A Boogie says, with the addition of CMC, I'm worried about Debo's production. This is exactly what Smitty and I talked about last week. Is Debo is not going to have the same big role. I think he's going to continue to have a big role, but obviously there's only one ball, a lot of mouths to feed. You're going to have to take production off of somebody, and Debo's a guy that's going to lose production. So 100% Boogie, Debo's production will naturally slide because you bring in a superstar on the other side. I mean, it just makes sense. It's natural. He's going to take away carries from Debo. So, yeah, you're right. It is going to dip into Debo's production there. So that was something they take. But you make your offense more dynamic. You make it harder on teams. So for the sake of the team, you're going to help your team winning with more weapons. But at the same time, on an individual basis, yeah, Debo's going to probably lose stats. So you're right. I'd like to see some fire from Kyle. He just seems so, I don't know. He doesn't have a lot of emotion. He's just pissed off. He's just angry. He doesn't seem to have a fun time on the field. I don't know. Definitely want to see a little bit more out of him. Doesn't have that pizzazz. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, again, it's still early. He definitely can turn it around this season. They've done it before, but it's not a guarantee. Not easy. NFL's tough. It's a week by week situation. So, Rick, yeah, McGlinchey, man. Penalty. To me, the penalties are just the worst part of it. I know he's going to get pushed around at times. Not every lineman's going to win every matchup, but man, God, those penalties. For I've been in a first-round pick, top 10 pick, and you've been in the league for a while now, multi-year veteran, you've been a captain of this team. The penalties, to me, are the most frustrating part because they're always at critical times. They're always at critical times, Rick. Big play, boom, oh my God, big play. And then it's like, hold on, number 69. And you're just like, what the fuck? Big critical junctions. He makes the most bizarre penalties. So it is tough. 49ers throwback. What's up? How you doing? Hope you've had a good day too. Been a good day for me. What's up? Yeah, those penalties are rough, Rick. Rough. Can't be doing that. Do a couple more questions and we're gonna get out. Gotta go get my daughter from school. Got out of work a little early today, so that's good. With Juice out, can Jeff Wilson Jr. block for CMC or Warner? Because he certainly can't catch. Yeah. Charlie Warner blew his opportunity. That was tough. He's a good blocker, so he's going to have to pave the way. Ross Dwelly is going to be the guy playing fullback, but you're absolutely right. Who's going to be the guy that picks up the slack blocking for Kyle Juszczyk? Obviously, George Kittle's a guy. Now there's a guy that's going to probably, pick up the slack in that department. But there's got to be another guy because they always have two extra, those two guys. Maybe it is Charlie Warner that comes in and gets those seal blocks out of the way. Definitely a guy that's going to be missed is Kyle Juszczyk. But, in the past, they've used Ross Dwelly in that role. So I feel like it's going to be Ross the boss that kind of gets into that mix. That again, that's what they've done in the past. So Kyle usually goes through what's worked for him in the past. He said it today, against the Rams. He doesn't even change his scheme, his scheduling. He basically said today, I don't change stuff when I play the Rams. It's the same stuff. So if he's not changing his stuff against the Rams, he's definitely not changing it throughout the season. So I feel, again, Kyle just basically told us he doesn't really make adjustments. And it's evident in the game. Kyle's got to get in that film room and make some adjustments. You can't just keep playing the team the same way all the time. Just because it's worked before, you got to change it up. And that's what he said today. So, hey, Sue says, how do I give my knee to Mosley? I wish I could. I wish I could give my ankle to Trey. My knee to Mosley. Swaggy says, is Armstead play this week? We'll see. Kyle said there's a chance. He didn't. Armstead didn't practice today, so we got to see how he feels this weekend. There's definitely a chance, according to Kyle, but it's not a guarantee. We definitely need it. Let's see. When is Jimmy going to win a game when our defense is not at its best? 2019 versus Saints is probably the last. It probably is the last time, and it's tough, and that's why I said, with Eric Davis the last week, he said it too. Eric Davis says sometimes the defense is just not going to be on their P's and Q's, and they're going to get knocked around and have a bad game. And this Sunday was a bad game for the defense. So we're not even going to sit here and sugarcoat it. It was, but you expect your offense to come up and step up, and they played okay for the most part. But you got to make field goals turn into touchdowns. There was a lot of points that they left on the board. So definitely got to put more points on the board. You got to be able to win a shootout because teams like the Chiefs, teams like the Bills, if you expect to make it to the Super Bowl and you're going to play them, you got to put up points. So Files God says the Rams could beat the Niners. They definitely can. I mean, it's not impossible. I think the Niners, though, they match up good against the Rams. And this is a good matchup. This, again, is a medicine-type game for the team to bounce back. So if they are going to be a team to get back on track, this is the best team to play because they match up so well against the Rams, and they typically play them good. So we'll see. Caleb says, do I think we should draft a good receiving tight end behind Kittle? I honestly do. Kincaid is nice from Utah. I like the guy too. I think we do. I mean, I love Kittle, but they're paying him a lot. They use him as a blocker. They use him, sparingly in the offense because they need him in different ways. And he's great, but eventually he's not going to be in his prime. And you need a guy that can help him out and take pressure off of him. I wouldn't mind seeing them getting another big-time tight end in the offense. Help him out. Maybe, draw some coverage away from him. A guy that can go out there and be another, offensive weapon in the red zone. And then if people start keying in on him, Kittle can go do his thing. So honestly, I don't think that's a bad idea. I definitely think that they should go out there and explore that option. We all thought Ross Dwelly was going to be that guy, but Ross Dwelly just hasn't taken that leap, So 100%, Caleb, I think that's a smart idea. C-Mac! The Falcons beat us. We could lose to anyone. My man C-Mac in the building. You got to come on the live eventually, but you're right. The Falcons, and I've said it, it's a week to week league. Anything is possible any given Sunday. You know what I mean? Yeah. Rick, we have limited picks this year, but John and Kyle draft. They honestly, I'm okay with the Niners only drafting late round picks. They're good in the later rounds. 5th round, gems. 6th round, they're good. 7th round, undrafted. 3rd round, not bad. But the early round picks, for the most part, don't always pan out. It's a gamble sometimes. And that's why they traded a lot of their picks, for CMC. They were like, you know what, these draft picks may not pan out. At least CMC's a proven superstar in the prime of his career still. So it wasn't a bad move. But you're right. The Niners draft so good in the later rounds. And that's why I don't mind if we don't have a lot of draft picks early, because I know the Niners are going to find gems in the draft. So, all right, let's do one more question. I got to bounce out of here. I've got to hit the road here in a few minutes. And then we'll be back later tonight. We'll go one more question. I hope everybody's doing great. C-Max says Adam Peters picks. Yeah, if you know, you know. Adam Peters is the guru behind the draft, especially those late round picks. He finds the gems. Kyle and Lynch listen to him. So, Jesus, are the Rams healthy? I have not seen their injury report, so I will look into that. I know they lost the lineman earlier this season, but I will look into that. And next time we come on the live, we'll look at the Rams injury report. That's my fault. I didn't look at the Rams injury report today. I'm sure that to me, they seem relatively healthy. Speaking of the Rams, did you guys, I know this was a few weeks ago, but I posted about it today on Instagram. So Matt Stafford was talking to Jalen Ramsey, and he told him he didn't even think he was going to be on the Rams. He thought he was going to be on the Niners. Remember those rumors? I know it's an old story, but yeah, he thought he was going to be on the Niners. It's crazy. There's so much history between the Niners and the Rams, especially recently. It's like, the Niners went and got Christian McCaffrey so that the Rams wouldn't get him. And last year the Rams went and got Matt Stafford so the Niners wouldn't get him. It's like eye for an eye. It's like they're battling for position. They're out there competing with each other to go get these players to make themselves better so they can beat the other team. Like, these two teams are going to make sure they're always a step above the other team. Brandon Cooks is now on the trade block, and the Rams are one of the teams looking in to get Brandon Cooks. I know they're going to probably try because they're like, we got to take something added to this team so we can come over the top of the Niners. But it's crazy. These two teams are always at battle, even when they're not playing against each other. So, Raphael, 100%. The Niners draft a running back in the 3rd round. Should we be yes? Why? We just traded for CMC. You have Ty Davis Price, who you drafted in the 3rd round. You have Jordan Mason, a gem that's just laying in the cabinet getting dust. You have Elijah Mitchell. If they go get a running back in the 3rd round when you need linemen, a right tackle, you need cornerback depth, you need safety help. You don't know if Jimmy Ward's coming back next year. We definitely will be upset. They went and drafted Trey Sermon last year. He's not even on our team. So I'm going to end it with that. Yes, we'll be upset, Raphael. I will be, at least. I will be. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good day. Appreciate you for tuning in. Jason Verrett definitely was activated from the PUP. Good to see. I love to hear it. Good news for Jason Verrett. I hope he gets healthy, and I hope he could contribute to this team. Prayers up. Welcome back, Jason Verrett, man. It's good to hear. We'll see you. I'll see you guys a little later, and we'll be back live on Instagram. So appreciate you. Have a good rest of your day. Bang, bang. 9 again.